This podcast is brought to you by Paramount Plus and by Visor.ai.
The Final Frontier podcast. These are the voyages of Jake Boger and Justin Spur. Our weekly mission to explore memories of Star Trek's strange new worlds, to recall the search for new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has had the spare time to go before. Alrighty, welcome everybody to the Final Frontier podcast, and welcome to our special guest, Sosa, or Sosa Potence 300, as he is known on YouTube. My buddy in Texas, retired professional mixed martial arts and Muay Thai fighter. They call him the brick wall for a reason. I have seen it, and yes, it is terrifying. At
Thank
least
you
for the
so
guy,
much.
at least for the guy on the other side.
Yes, sir. I loved that. My career highlight. Y'all were watching live. Y'all were so epic for that.
Dude, that was a sick fight, man. And like I was saying, that was the fight of the night for the finish, not because you were my friend, but it in fact was the fight of the night because of the finish. For those who haven't seen it, spinning back, well, technically a spinning back fist, but he was going for a spinning
right.
back. He was going for a spinning back elbow, but the guy moved away, so he just went boop.
Kicks. Sosa with a spinning back fist with 8 seconds left. Holy
Rad.
Yep.
That's rad. That's badass.
It was awesome. But we are here to not talk about fighting, although it will come up later, I promise. I was gonna say there's some yeah. It's coming. We are here to talk about Star Trek, the original series, season 2, episode 6, The Doomsday Machine. This episode takes place on Stardate 4202.1. The in-universe date is still the year 2267, and the original air date for this episode was October 20th, 1967. This episode is written by a gentleman named Norman Spinrad, or Spinrod, depending on how you pronounce it, and directed by our good friend Mark Daniels with a C, who we have come to expect great things from.
So it's funny. I don't usually have notes on the names of these people, but I like the name Norman Spinrad so much. It was like it's a very Star Trek name or a D-list Spider-Man villain.
Had the A-list Norman, so
I'm just saying he's not quite A-list Norman.
he's
Okay,
like,
maybe generously B-list.
He's like, who are you, Green Goblin? No, I am Seasonal
Norman's-
Goblin.
Seasonal Goblin.
I only come out in the
Occasionally
fall.
shows up.
But Justin, so a fun fact about this episode was nominated for a Hugo Award for Best Dramatic Presentation at the 1968 World Science Fiction Convention. So it's an award-winning episode, and I see why.
I absolutely see
it's
why.
pretty
This was
good.
a banger.
It's pretty
This was
good.
solid.
But speaking of bangers, would you like to grace us with the Paramount Plus description brought to you by Paramount Plus?
Absolutely. So, okay, number one, the episode title being called Doomsday Machine. It was the description gave me nothing. It was very straight to the point. It just said it's a machine and it blows up a planet. That made sense to me. And then always just because we always talk about its place in time. So it's the 1960s. So I went Doomsday Machine. There's obviously going to be a Cold War thing in here somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
There's not just illusion in this one, though.
I
Well,
also obviously went. Did this walk so the Death Star could run?
yeah, probably.
That now that you mention it, I
Yeah.
just had a little mind epiphany right there. I was like, "Holy crap, he's right!"
Then to be fair, that was a shot before I had seen it. So you know, I know nothing. I have never seen most of these. I know it a bit culturally through a cultural osmosis, but that's it. So that was a shot in the dark, having not seen the episode yet.
This is what fresh eyes brings to us. Although I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to forgive you not having watched this stuff, man. Like, but you're getting around to it now, so okay.
It on it. Okay. I do have a little bit of like history with it. Like my dad was a big Trekkie growing up, so like he used to watch The Next Generation. So when I was a kid, I was a big Star Wars kid, and so to me, Star Trek was the only time that space stuff was boring because it was got people standing around talking. But now as an adult, I love the bits where they stand around talking.
Some
So
of the
like
best.
it's some of the best stuff. But also. I would also say, having now watched this and become a fan through doing this, I would say it's actually way more action heavy than you would expect it to be.
Absolutely. And you want to know how life all is funny and ties around? There's a mystic energy of the universe. When Jake and I first agreed to do this episode review, I knew he was doing Star Trek reviews of the older kind with Kirk and everything, but I didn't know when I said that what point of and which episode and which season he was on. I happened to mention this episode as probably my favorite one, and he was already on the previous episode. Just by chance, just at random, this was the timeline he had already been on. And I happened to chime in when he's about to review this one. And it's all on Paramount, which is where the UFC is moving to starting next year. So everything lines up. Like all of life is a mystic energy but yes, like because I watched this episode again today, I said to myself, okay, I remember almost all these episodes, at least somewhat, from when I was a kid. But now that I now have adult eyes and can go back and understand all the wonderful references about the atomic bomb that they make a big, like, I'm like, oh, I need to go back and watch all these again, man. I need to.
Yeah, it's incredible how, again, when you watch all of the series as an adult, it hits way different. But we'll get into all that. But first, we have to start with our story, which begins with the USS Enterprise following a trail of mysteriously destroyed star systems, picks up the automated distress beacon of one of Enterprise's sister ships, the USS Constellation. My first question upon watching this episode is, where the hell is Uhura? And who is that lady in her chair?
Yes.
I'm so happy you said something because my first note is there's something different about O'Hara. I can't quite put my finger on it, but
Can't
I
quite
can't.
place it.
Can't quite,
Did she do
can't
something
quite
with her
place
hair?
it. Something about her hair is different.
Everybody has a sick day.
This is
Well, I
true.
have a note about that later as well. I was like, man, she picked a hell of a day to take off.
Yeah.
She
Oh,
comes
man.
back on
She,
Monday. What happened, guys?
she and the night crew were like, what the hell, man? Why
What
doesn't
did
the
you guys
transporter
do?
work? What did you do? Why is there a shuttle missing? Where's that guy?
Where's that guy?
And it's just some other fun trivia facts. Besides the Constellation, sorry, the other Constitution class ships seen in the original series are the USS Hood, the USS Potemkin, the USS Excalibur, Lexington, Defiant, and Exeter. This USS Defiant is not to be confused with the awesome ship, the USS Defiant from Star Trek Deep Space Nine, which is not a Constitution class starship. It is a Defiant class
So,
starship.
like, no
Of all the stars.
consistency in the naming.
Right on, brother. Vulcan high five.
Yes, sir.
Ah,
That's my first observation is there's no real consistency in the names. Like they don't have a theme, a unifying theme. They're just
they
whatever
don't.
sounds cool.
I don't have to. It's kind of like how the USS Navy, the U.S. Navy, like the names have meaning, but there's no like we're gonna name all of this class after stars or something. Like they're
Fair enough.
just kind of whatever they decide on. Although I think all of these are actually named after old ships.
Oh, okay.
Because like
Fair enough.
The Enterprise was an aircraft carrier, and the second it's still an aircraft carrier, but the first one
Oh,
was an aircraft carrier in the Second World War. I know the USS Hood was a ship. I don't remember what time. The
hmm.
Potemkin was, they actually made a movie about it. It was a Russian ship or submarine. I can't remember which, but I'm willing
Huh.
to bet these are all old ship names.
Really? I
Now
didn't know
that
that
you
the
mention
Enterprise was named after ships. Sorry, so sorry.
No, you're good. Now that you mention it, I agree. I never thought about it before.
Yeah, I never knew that. I always learn stuff doing this show. That's why I enjoy doing this show.
Well, and in a strange, not a strange, in a deliberate twist of fate. I forget the year, but the NASA was launching a new shuttle program, and there was a massive letter writing campaign for the new shuttle to be named USS Enterprise.
I mean, as it should.
Yeah. And
As it should.
when humans do invent our first starship of this ilk, I'll bet dollars to donuts it will be named the USS Enterprise.
Either that or the Millennium Falcon.
Nah, USS Enterprise, bro. Because
I mean,
even
I'm Team USS Enterprise. I'm just saying.
the
Solid
first
second.
in Star Trek canon, the first warp capable ship was named the USS Enterprise.
Oh, all right then.
That's why Star Trek Enterprise is named Enterprise because it was the first. No, I take that back. It was the first warp 5 capable starship. So no, I take that
Oh.
back. It wasn't the first, but it was the first one to go on like a deep space mission because it could achieve those speeds. And as always, if I'm incorrect about something, our comment section will let me know
They will
because
light us up.
you guys do that sometimes brutally, but it's all in good fun. Another thing you guys might have noticed is very strangely, there are two armed red shirt security guards posted at the bridge door throughout the majority of this episode, even though there's no apparent reason requiring their presence.
I did notice them actually.
This won't happen again
I
without a
did notice
reason.
that. But it seemed like they were the last episode, I think.
But the
Because
last episode, there was a reason. There was a security threat.
right, right,
In this one,
right.
they're just there, and you might assume that they're still there for residual, but this star date is significantly after the previous
Hmm.
episode, so
Is the
they're
production
just
date the same or close?
maybe, but that doesn't give a good in-universe reason.
Oh, fair enough. I'm thinking of like an out of your universe reason, just aesthetically. Maybe they wanted to keep the bridge looking more full.
If I had to take a guess, because the security guards do become necessary later in the episode when they escort the Commodore out, spoiler alert, but
Yeah,
maybe the actors
they're there to
unions.
facilitate that.
Well, but since they have to be on screen, it's possible the actors union said, no, they have to be on screen for X number of minutes, blah, 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 blah. So they just
That
stuck
makes
them by
sense.
the door. Maybe. I don't know. Because one of them has a
Plus,
speaking role. What's
Yeah,
that?
that's true.
Upon arrival, the Constellation is found heavily damaged and drifting in space. Captain Kirk, Dr. McCoy, Chief Engineer Scott, and a damage controls team transport to the ship to evaluate the situation. So, Justin, we touched
Um,
on this a bit in season 1, but I just have to say, one of our theories has been confirmed, or they're all idiots. Both are possible. So
it's
they mention,
possible.
so they mention before they beam over that they don't read any dangerous radiation levels, but the interference means they can't be sure. So they beam over a fairly large landing party with no protective gear whatsoever, and then when they materialize, they go, "Yep, radiation levels normal."
Radiation level normal. Atmospheric pressure 11 pounds per square inch.
Our theory about medical science and the Federation being able to cure radiation poisoning seems legit because if you don't know so there's a throwaway line in the episode Mud's Women where one of the women stands in front of Dr. McCoy's medical scanner and he's like,
Are you wearing some unusual kind of perfume or something radioactive, my dear?
so this suggests that radiation poisoning is not, at least in small doses, is not dangerous, which flies
Oh,
in the face of the end of Wrath of Khan, but you can, I suppose, make the case that Spock was exposed to obscene levels of radiation.
you took the words right out of my mouth. I'm like, wasn't there a reference to that? Like, yeah.
Yep.
Also,
Okay.
there's plenty of moments where they're wearing what one would describe as loose-fitting radiation clothing.
Well, yeah, there's that too. The one guy's able to scratch his nose underneath it when I'm like, doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose?
It defeats the whole purpose. When they board the ship, I don't know if either of you watch Archer?
I know of it, but I don't
No.
think I've ever seen
Oh,
an episode.
they have a gag where when you say what is the equivalent to a "that's what she said" joke, but it's more general. It's for all genders. We're going to board her would be an example of it's not quite a that's what she said joke because you know, it's something a guy would say, and that's what he said doesn't really feel right. So that's where phrasing comes in.
I mean, it can feel right if you're in California.
I suppose that is true. A particular part of California.
Especially up in the north, rhymes with San Francisco. Anyway, the other thing you're telling me, another one of our theories was proven correct, or at least one of my theories, but I think you agree with me on this, Justin. So you're telling me that a starship can survive something that can destroy planets, plural, kind of puts the whole Star Wars versus Star Trek argument to bed.
I'm just saying, man, that thing tanked. Tank. I didn't even, I didn't even think about that. You make a valid point. Yeah, this thing is destroying galaxies, and their spaceships tanked it, and I mean was severely damaged, but could still move.
Oh yeah, and they were able to make repairs. I've always said, yeah, your Star Destroyer is cute and all, but it doesn't stand a chance against the USS Enterprise.
It's fun. It's funny you mentioned that because we'll get there. We'll get there. I have a question about the Enterprise for later. I enjoyed the set work of the constellation. I was like, it's obviously repurposed sets from the Enterprise, but they've reconstructed it in a way to make it look different. And I was like,
Yeah,
yeah, respect.
which makes sense because they're both Constitution class
Yeah.
starships, but the Constellation was built first, and you can tell by its what would you call that? Not its model number, its
Design.
registration number, because it's the Enterprise is 1701 and the Constellation is 1071. So I guess
Oh,
that would be its
interesting.
production number, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, production number. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah,
Yeah,
because that would be the on the production line. Yeah, production
yeah.
number makes sense.
Once there, they discover the only member of the crew still aboard is the ship's commander, Commodore Matt Decker, who is nearly catatonic and suffering from severe mental shock. When I heard his name, I instantly went Decker, like William Decker from Star Trek the Motion Picture, and boy,
Oh.
I went down a rabbit hole. While it has never been officially confirmed on screen, even StarTrek.com supports the idea that William Decker is in fact the son of Commodore Matt Decker. In the initial planning of Star Trek Phase 2, which was supposed to be the sequel series that never happened, Matt Decker was going to be the Enterprise's first officer after Spock returns to Vulcan, which I believe he does to go through Kolinar. Or regardless, Spock is not on the Enterprise as the first officer, which is weird, but maybe Leonard Nimoy didn't want to do it when they were in talks. This is also strangely fascinating because William Decker will be removed from his command of the Enterprise in Star Trek: the Motion Picture by a then Admiral Kirk, and he will also meet his fate at the hands of a mysterious machine of destruction.
Yep.
Yeah, spoiler alert for Star Trek: The Motion Picture, but it takes you 2.5 hours to get to this part, if not longer. I'm not going to say William Decker dies necessarily, although I guess corporeally he dies because technically he merges with V'ger, but his corporeal form is in fact dead. So we'll count it.
Okay. When I heard the name, I wrote what was quite possibly. I think it might be the most offensive joke I've ever written. I'll let you decide. So, okay, here it goes. Do you think Matt Decker hits his wife, or do you think that would be too on the nose? Deck her? Matt Deck her? No,
I
is that too
got it
far?
immediately, and I
Is
was
that too
like,
far?
God.
Is that too far? It was too far. I'm immediately sorry. I'm immediately sorry for that.
Well, it's
That was
also
probably too
funny.
far.
It's also funny that you said on the nose because presumably that's where he decks her.
I, I mean, yeah, I'm glad you picked up on that. That's the lowest I'll ever go, I think. I think that's
He
they're both shaking
does.
their heads.
I'm not gonna lie though, he does seem like the kind of guy who would come home and be like, "Why are there dirty dishes in the sink?"
I I went through multiple like I felt bad about that joke and then I didn't and then I did again and then I it was a real roller coaster for the rest of this episode.
To be fair, it's not even close to the most offensive joke he made on this show.
Really?
Well, I
Oh,
suppose
okay.
it depends on who you ask. It might be offensive to the women, but they don't watch the show because it's
The
Star Trek.
women aren't watching this show.
That's actually not true. We've gotten some of our nicest comments from female viewers, so thank you. Um,
Yeah, that is true.
but
That
clearly,
is
our
true.
sense of
They're
humor, yeah, clearly our sense of humor is not a problem for them, at least. So
Yeah. Again, I'm immediately sorry. Don't write a blog.
Do write a
tempting.
blog, but link us.
Link us. Yeah.
So that they'll be
Yeah.
like, I want to watch that misogynist Star Trek show, and then they'll be like, wow, these guys are actually pretty funny. That joke
That's
wasn't that offensive.
that's there's too many jokes about bodily fluids for that to be the most offensive one.
Well, y'all do know that they've actually done research on the demographics of who watch these shows, and this oldest Star Trek that we're reviewing right now did have the most female viewers out of any of the other Star Treks.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
did learn that, as a matter of
we
fact.
did learn that, yeah.
Okay,
Surprisingly,
I
not
wasn't sure if you
surprisingly,
did.
actually.
Yep, it surprised the
Oh yeah,
network
the
too.
women loved her. They loved him being a womanizer and everything like that. Oh, they love that stuff.
Believe it or not, Spock was actually the most popular character among female viewers.
I wouldn't doubt it. His stoicism, I don't give an F, yeah.
That's what we said. His aloofness must have driven the ladies of the 60s crazy. But after
I can make him
McCoy,
feel.
you can be.
I can make a few- Solid. Nice.
Oh, God. I can change him.
I can fix him. It's the 1960s. I can fix him.
After McCoy injects Decker with a stimulant, Decker explains that his crew and he discovered a giant machine miles long that used beams of antiprotons to tear planets apart, consuming the rubble for fuel. The attack by Constellation on the machine was ineffective, and the ship suffered heavy damage. Decker evacuated his crew to a nearby planet, remaining aboard the Constellation until last. However, the machine subsequently destroyed the ship's transporter, and then the planet, killing his entire crew. This actor is giving 1,000%, and I love it.
Oh, I completely
Bro,
agree. I've got so many notes about how good he was.
that's one of the things I was going to point out too. Like, oh my God, he made Kirk look tame.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
You thought I overacted.
yeah, right. Hey,
Like,
I went through again.
Harry be less flamboyant and bastic than him.
Yeah, no. Since when is Kirk the calm guy?
Right?
I know.
I went through like an arc of being like, is he good? Is he bad? Is he good? Because there were moments that made me go, ooh, but then there was moments that were like, knock it out of the park. Like I'm like, yeah, man, he's earning that paycheck. He wants to come back next week.
Well, funny you should mention that, because he didn't. Because according to William Wyndham, he did not enjoy working on the show. He said that William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy were not getting along at the time, which made the set's atmosphere tense. He also said that he felt that the episode was silly, so he purposefully overacted.
What? Oh, I completely
What?
disagree.
Well, he did a good job.
I was gonna say that's Daniel Day-Lewis overacting right there. The only time I could really see maybe was at the end when he's in the shuttlecraft. But
There's a few points in the middle where I was like, oh, this is bridging into corny. His stuff early on was quite good. Yeah,
yeah,
it was quite good. So the machine itself, as it is described, I went through a few things. Initially, I was like, it's Galactus, but then when he was like, it's a robot, I went, it's Unicron, and then that, of course, that led me to ask the question: could the Enterprise beat Unicron?
probably not.
No.
No, you don't think the Enterprise could be Unicron?
No, I spent years, ask Jake, I spent years and years and years debating all the Goku versus Supermans and this versus that and this versus that. Unicron is a universal presence. Like it can wipe out universes. No way, Jose.
No,
Okay,
right, okay, fair
so
enough.
here's
Fair
here's
answer.
here's
I'll take
another
it.
one. Here's another one, and I think the answer is no too. Did the Enterprise take on the Anti-Monitor?
Nope.
No,
I didn't think so.
Even
I was gonna say, because it
Anti-Monitor
would just.
look like a bum.
yeah.
This is true.
I guess I was thinking like Unicron. Fair enough. Unicron turns into the big robot. I'm like, nah. But I guess I was thinking of him as the planet. I was like, yeah, maybe he's flying a windshield. Yeah, no, fair enough.
William Wyndham would go on to say, though, it wasn't until many years later that he realized that his character was a reference to Captain Ahab from Moby Dick, and he regrets his performance on the show.
Oh, he shouldn't, because this episode does not work without him.
But I was getting Ahab vibes from him, though.
I totally was. Now that you say that, I totally was.
I mean,
Absolutely. And go ahead.
I was gonna say Decker was hitting that one on the nose because I'm literally like he's Captain Ahab.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And to be perfectly honest, the overacting fit with the rest of the vibe of the episode, so I was cool with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
it didn't
I
hurt.
mean, we're gonna get into him as a character later, but for what happens to him, it works in a way that I
Very
don't think is intentional. But
right.
we'll
I
get
know
there.
this is very much a happy accident according to him, but also according to William Wyndham. And I noticed this immediately, and it annoyed the bejesus out of me. But he had Decker compulsively twiddle with the cassette cartridges as a homage to Humphrey Bogart, who apparently does the same thing with ball bearings in the movie The Kane Mutiny. And it doesn't work with data tapes because why is he
I was
holding
wondering what
them?
he was doing. He had the yellow. Is that what? Because I saw he had the yellow things in his hands. I'm like, what is the deal? I think that I called them. They looked like sticky pads or whatever in an earlier episode. I was like, what's with the sticky pads? And yeah,
Don't know
um,
why he has them.
I don't get it.
You
Yeah,
also
no,
think about it though, considering the fact that they woke him up from a shock coma, he actually acts pretty reasonable.
this is true.
I
Well,
mean,
and but
I'd say it's debatable.
later when McCoy is like, "Yeah, I'm removing him from duty for medical reasons," and Spock's like, "You can't because you haven't performed an exam." I'm kind of like, "Yeah, but he did give him like a metric ton of drugs to
I
bring him out
mean,
of a coma." I think
I,
that's a good medical necessity for removing him from duty.
I guess this is a good juncture to, since you already brought that up. Or I said, yeah, surely Starfleet has some sort of regulation that Spock can bring up that would prevent this man who is clearly suffering from PTSD, perhaps require some sort of psych evaluation to make sure he's fit for duty, because his decision making seems a bit rash at best.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, spoiler alert, because we'll get there relatively soon, but ultimately he does, but like it took way too long to get there.
I
And
have several
Yeah,
notes about this.
and
yeah,
it's kind of
I had notes about it too, man. I was like, Spock wouldn't have never done that, like ever.
I just feel like someone could be like, hey man, he just watched 400 people that he was supposed to be in charge of die. This man has severe mental trauma. Perhaps we shouldn't let him be in charge.
I mean, there's the thought, and it actually comes in that very thing comes into play in Star Trek for the Kelvin timeline in 2009. That's how Kirk gets Spock to show an emotional response because, yeah,
Yes.
Spock's planet was just destroyed, so you
But
probably shouldn't be in charge.
there is a question to that though that I thought of when I was writing these notes about the PTSD. Was PTSD a thing in the 1960s that they were aware of?
Not the way
Like,
we know it today, no.
no, like I knew like shell shock was a thing back then.
Well,
But
by this time, I think it was affectionately known as battlefield fatigue. But I mean, they knew that you could have, like a
they didn't have a
traumatic
name for it kind
experience.
of thing.
I think they were still calling it battlefield fatigue, or I mean, I guess I don't know because I don't know the history of mental health at that particular time. I know in the military, I think at
No,
this
me
point it was
neither.
battlefield fatigue, but I think generally speaking, I mean, like they knew that seeing something traumatic could affect your,
Because he definitely
mental.
is giving that vibe, just bury it way down deep and get over it. And I was like, I could believe that was the vibe in the 1960s.
I don't know.
Although
I'm willing to bet that even the military at the time, if you watched 400 of your friends die a horrible death, I'm willing to bet you'd get a
You would
little bit of R&R
you would think, right? You would
or at least a
think?
psych evaluation like immediately.
You would think? And
the
this
way I
Maybe.
was able to rationalize Spock actually going along with it is maybe his human side, and perhaps maybe a little bit of the logical side too. Even though he wanted to retreat and communicate with Starfleet, part of him was like, "Yeah, I don't really feel good about abandoning these people either, or abandoning the ship." And Kirk and a few other people were on the other ship while that was going on. So he was gonna say, "Well, this way I'll be able to save my friends." That's the way I justify it to myself, or else it makes absolutely no sense.
Well, no,
I just
Spock's plan was to circle back to the constellation, pick up those people, and then go leave and notify Starfleet.
just
But
not engage with it on a combat level,
yeah,
basically.
but
That was his
fun fact, Spock was actually wrong.
I
Yeah,
mean, it just kind of seemed like the guy got him on a technicality. Like I'd be like, It just seems like he probably shouldn't be in charge of a starship right now, and he's hell bent on revenge. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist or whatever.
You could also reason to yourself that he's the only one who has any idea of what they're facing. So maybe give deferred judgment to him, because you have to remember Spock was not there to see how frazzled he was and how much PTSD he had.
This is true.
On the other,
That's a fair point. No, totally fair. That's a fair point.
Yep, he didn't see the face.
Yeah,
He only saw
about that.
He only saw the face.
Yeah. He got on the ship and he's already gruff and kind of seemingly over it. That's a valid point. Actually, I didn't even think about that.
But Kirk theorizes that the machine is an ancient doomsday machine, which must be stopped before it reaches more populated sectors of the galaxy. The second they mention that it's heading for Rigel, I was like, Rigel, the pleasure planet, it must be stopped immediately.
It must be stopped. That's why Kirk was like, we need to stop this immediately.
Yeah, it's like, no, it's heading for Rigel. Nope.
Let's save Rigel.
Cannot let it hit Rigel. No.
Gotta save Rigel. I've got vacation days booked, pal. We gotta save Rigel.
This is not ruining my vacation.
Uhura's on Rigel.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. I mean, that's where she took her day off. So obviously, Jake, whenever we have CGI replacement, my number one question is, what did this look like originally?
Not as good, and I actually have a note later, but I'll go ahead and bring it since you brought it up. What does it say? Where are you? This is the most effects-heavy episode in the second season. When the series was digitally remastered for its 2007 DVD release, the upgrade required nearly 200 new effect shots for this episode. So it looks vastly different, and you can tell. If you've seen Star Trek before.
I haven't, and I can tell.
I can't. I'm pretty sure I saw. I may not have had this one on VHS because I don't remember it.
As a viewer of the show, I would love to see some comparison shots because I was fat. There's so much CGI replacement, and I'm like, what did the thing itself? I couldn't think of what it reminded me of, but it like reminded me of like almost like a worm or like with the spinning teeth. I'm like, there's a thing culturally that this reminds me of, and I cannot figure out what it is.
The worms from Dune.
Dune, is it the Dune worms? Is that what it reminds me of? Oh, but did it look like a big toothy worm in the original?
I don't know. We'll find out.
I guess we'll find out.
Before, and to be perfectly honest, it didn't look that different to me. And I'm only saying that because I'm giving props to the original. Like, they did do a better job with it. And while the CGI isn't that great, I love the color scheme and the effects and everything. I loved it all.
I don't hate CGI replacement. I'm always fascinated.
Sometimes we do.
Sometimes but
sometimes it's unnecessary.
No, that's true.
For Star Trek. Yeah, sometimes it's, but generally speaking, they do a pretty good job of updating it enough to where it looks good, but not updating it so much that it makes the rest of the footage look absolutely ancient.
Yeah. No, if it looks like if CGI existed in the 1960s, this is what it would feel like. Like, it's rudimentary looking, which is.
Y'all might have to show me some shots of what y'all are talking about later, because I'm not aware of these examples.
Oh yeah. He's usually really editor Jake, in his blessed wisdom, is usually pretty good about putting those in. I actually watch this show because I enjoy the edits. He takes requests.
He's a menace. He's a menace.
He's a menace. But yeah, this whole episode, I was fascinated. I was like, I need to know what this looks like originally, because this does look expensive.
They do a really great job of not showing you the monster too early. There's some anticipation, and I like it.
So you said it was the Dune worm. What year does the book come out? Is it actually a Dune worm? Like, do you think they took that from Dune, or?
No, I don't think they took it from Dune. But the books came out first, but the movie didn't come out till 1984. The first movie?
Yeah, Dune, I believe, used Star Trek as a reference point, as an inspiration.
For the movie? Because the book came out.
General. General.
I don't know. I wouldn't make that.
I would not be surprised if they probably inspired each other.
Somewhere, but I'm not going to die by that one.
The first movie maybe, but the second movie I don't see too much Star Trek coding in that one.
Yes,
Yeah.
no, I only meant the first movie. Yes, absolutely. 1980s. Yeah, only that one. Yeah.
I'd be willing to believe that because that was
I would too, yeah.
Boy, that was
that would
great.
make sense.
Boy, people were on LSD way too hard making films back in those days.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Get this: the people that inhale the spice too much get blue eyes, but not just the iris, the whole fucking thing. It's awesome, bro.
So wait,
Throw it
didn't
in.
that movie come out in the 80s?
The original one, yes.
Yep.
Oh, see, my theory is everyone who made movies in the 80s was just on cocaine.
Same difference.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Fair
Cocaine,
enough, totally
LSD,
fair.
sometimes
Fair.
both at the same time.
Fair, fair. No, that's fair. That's fair. That's totally fair.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
valid.
back then especially.
This is the part of the episode where I literally, as I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, okay, this is. I was literally about to say to myself, wow, okay, this is pretty nuclear coded. But then Kirk directly says verbatim, like the H bomb. And I was like, well, guess I was right.
No
I,
subtlety in their references.
Not at all. Not in this one.
I had a note on that, which is just Captain Kirk or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, and just is that a reference people get? I know that's a
Well,
reference Jake gets, but like that might have just been a joke for Jake.
I actually enjoy the debate, and I've heard a lot of debates on whether Hiroshima and whether they thought that was a legit use of force or not. And now no one's ever done anything since, and maybe that was what was needed to make sure no one ever does it again. I don't know. America had to strike first. It's an interesting debate, bro.
well, we're gonna go ahead and kick that hornet's nest. I am still firmly in the camp of it was justified. There's a lot. I understand there is a debate, but if you
Look
actually
at
look,
you, starting to turn into me right here, Jake. Look
oh
at
no,
that.
I felt this way
I
the vast
I know.
majority
Look
of my
at you
life.
getting hardcore on me.
I could see. Look, it's one of those like I could definitely see it was like, hey man, the Japanese they were not gonna stop. They were like a I don't want to say like a hive, but like an ant or whatever. They were just never gonna stop, and yeah. So I could see the argument on both sides, but it's definitely like worth the debate is worth having, I guess.
I'm in the camp of regrettable but necessary.
That I can
Well,
get in that camp.
what also perplexes me is just how our relationship with Japan has changed. Like, I
Oh yeah.
understand that technology kind of slowed down their birth rates, and therefore they don't really have a soldier class. But that's why they always align with other people. But still, like compared to you would never suspect that they would go to war with anyone for any reason if you were to look at them now. But they always
Well,
seem to have that potential
No.
behind them
well, technically their constitution doesn't let them, but
now. But I mean,
I mean post uh post World War II,
this
their constitution
I
is.
wonder if they truly changed or if they're just waiting.
No, I think it did.
Like I would say that like any country, there's
It's
probably a segment of their population that probably does.
well, yeah,
Yeah,
there's ignorant pockets in every society, right? Because
Pretty well, yeah.
there's still
that
people
new
in.
female leader that they have now. Oh, she's a cork.
Yeah, but oh God, okay, we're not gonna go down that rabbit hole just because it'll take too much time. It'll take us away from Star
Sure,
Trek.
sure.
But
My
yeah,
bad. I'm sorry.
I do want to share the fun fact though. Did you know that she was in a metal band, which is awesome?
No.
Makes perfect sense.
See,
Yeah.
I have to I have a new friend who is a foreigner in Japan, so I yeah, I have
Oh no,
to
I
I
don't.
have
I don't. Well, okay. Not gonna go down. Not gonna go down that
no,
rabbit hole.
that's another podcast.
To the end.
Yeah, that's a totally different conversation. We'll detract too much. Going back to our friends on the Enterprise, McCoy and Decker transport to Enterprise, which has taken Constellation in tow, while Scotty's damage control team attempts repairs on Constellation's damaged impulse engines, weapons, and shields. Kirk attends to the Constellation's non-functional view screen, which aside from communications from the Enterprise, will be the only means he has of monitoring events outside the ship. Speaking of segues, though, it's time to tell the people about the bestest, greatest, most mountainy of mountainous streaming services, Paramount Plus,
Paramount Plus.
because it is
Made.
awesome.
I mean, it's where all the Star Trek is. That's where I watch my Star Trek.
It is
Paramount Plus.
literally It is literally where all the Star Trek is. But I have just realized that our normal banner location will block out Sosa's face. So we're going to segue into a promo for one of the many shows that you can check out on Paramount Plus.
Caleb. What's that one? Right there. Right there. One day, when we have our own ship, we are going to go visit Earth first. That's right.
Bye-bye, Mommy!
I love you! I'm so sorry.
You hold on to how much you hate me right now, kid. It'll keep you warm at night.
Find him! Portal breach. Caleb, I've been looking for you every single day for the last 15 years. Come with me to Starfleet Academy. The Federation will help you find your mother.
That thing is taking us to the school?
That is the school.
Being a cadet in Starfleet Academy means being open to the people around you.
I understand. Sometimes I feel invisible, but mostly awkward.
Let's go! Show me you're worthy of this uniform!
I want to be captain. I need to be captain.
My family, you're either the center of the universe or you're nothing.
A warrior does not let a friend face danger alone.
I've spent my whole life getting away from stuff, letting someone in. It's hard.
If I lose control, I can hurt people.
Doesn't scare me.
I'll owe you something. It is coming with a big red bow just for you.
Is anybody listening?
Man, why does everything have to be a full-on lesson in this place?
Because it's a school, Caleb. It's time for you to stop telling the story. Be a part of it.
First Officer Spock informs Kirk of the sudden appearance of the planet killer, which begins to pursue Enterprise. Sosa, you literally described this thing to me as a basking shark in space, and that description is 100% on target. When I first saw this thing, I'm like, oh wow, it is a basking shark in space.
Also,
you were not wrong.
Not to go back to that H-bomb comparison, but like much like at other times when Kirk has used a historical analogy, I just don't think it's a one-to-one analogy because you never see the people. I don't see the correlation because he doesn't. It's not a. You don't see a people who have chosen to drop this. Like this is not a weapon. It just seems to be an aimless thing that is traveling through space. There's no bad guys here that have dropped this on people. Seemingly, I mean, I guess they
not
sort
that
of
you've
hint
seen,
at them, but
not that you've seen. But let's assume in an alternate history to kind of. I agree, it's a loose metaphor, but I think he's going more for the destructive power rather than the manner in which it's dropped. But let's assume for a
moment. He's also just using reason to parse out why something like this could possibly exist, and it'll only be for that reason. Because it does say within the episode it comes from a different galaxy, so it's like the Yuuzhan Vong with Star Wars kind of reference.
Yeah, but I guess in an alternate history, this would be if the United States had said nothing before dropping the atomic bomb and then didn't take credit for it afterwards. Like nobody would. Okay. I mean, people would have suspected, but nobody would have known.
Still feels like a loose metaphor, but
it's a loose metaphor.
It is really. When he first made the reference, I was just like, "Well, that's quite a jump."
But also, you kind of got to remember that again. We always mention this, but this is in the 1960s. That idea of the Doomsday Machine is very top of mind for them. So I understand it in its context of the time this was made in. So I did get it, but I would not that guys like us existed back then, but I'd like, I'm just saying the metaphor feels loose.
Well, but to your point, remember this is not too far removed from the Cuban Missile Crisis. So yes,
fair point. Yes, you're not
everybody's
wrong.
Mind, so everyone automatically.
Yeah, fair point.
So the author of this episode, Norman Spinrad, was displeased with the model used for the planet killer, as he told Alan Asherman in the Star Trek interview book. He envisioned Doomsday Machine bristling with all sorts of evil-looking weapons, but for budgetary reasons, the actual Doomsday Machine model was made by dipping a windsock into cement.
See, having not actually seen it yet, I have no frame of reference, but that sounds
I
bad.
honestly would have rather have not known that.
Well, that's why we're here, to ruin it. We ruin
Thank you
everything
so
for
much.
Call me Neil deGrasse Tyson because I'm out here ruining stuff for people.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
no, actually.
No, actually, actually.
Actually, I am firmly, I am,
like,
oh, I don't despise him, but I am firmly in Neil deGrasse Tyson's camp of why BB-88 sucks. It's a terribly designed droid, which actually would not move forward on sand, but in the
I
movie
mean,
he
there's a reason
does.
why most real life versions of him go face forward.
Just saying, it's a terrible design. As Kirk's boarding party prepares to beam back aboard the Enterprise, the machine attacks it, damaging the transporter and disrupting communications. Decker, now the senior officer on board Enterprise, assumes command and orders a phaser attack on the machine at point blank range. This fails, as the machine's hull is made of solid neutronium. Justin, I already know you're going to ask,
Yes, I love how you know I'm already gonna ask. That
is
makes me happy.
neutronium a real thing?
I was gonna ask that.
Kind of. So neutronium is
Really?
it's a hypothetical substance made purely of neutrons. The word was coined by scientist Andreas von Antropoff, awesome name, in
Huh.
1926, before the 1932 discovery of the neutron particle, which is also really cool and weird. He envisioned this as a hypothetical element with the atomic number of 0, with no protons in the nucleus, that he
Huh.
placed at the head of the periodic table. However, the meaning of the term has changed over time, and from the last half of the 20th century onward, it has also been used to refer to an extremely dense substance resembling the neutron degenerate matter theorized to exist in the cores of neutron stars, which we do know
aw,
exist.
I thought I was about to sound really smart, and you took it away from me.
Huh.
But technically, Google took it away from me, but
Oh well.
Huh. That's so fascinating. So, like, whoever wrote this episode's a real nerd, is what you're telling me. That's
basically,
Oh, no
awesome.
surprise. Star Trek
I
needs
say a
to be
guy who
back.
wrote Star Trek is a nerd. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
even their hypothetical elements make sense.
I know. It's just the fact that it's not a real element, but it's an element that is based on a real concept. It's so like I don't know. Like like an onion. Just it's a multi-layered reference. It's great. I love it. That's awesome. I
Well,
just love the fact that you knew I was gonna ask. Oh, that's delightful.
well, to be fair, that was my first question when they said neutronium. I'm like, that sounds like a real thing.
That's the times I tend to ask my question. It's like, is this a Star Trek thing or is this a real life thing?
I was just floored when we found out that dilithium was actually a thing.
I mean, yeah. Oh, I love learning science stuff on this show.
Science rules.
Science rules.
Despite Spock's objections, Decker refuses to retreat, and the planet killer captures the Enterprise in a tractor beam, drawing it into its maw or mouth. So all that talk earlier about I can't believe Spock let him take control of the Enterprise. That's what's happening now. I have a hard time believing that the entire crew of 400, not one person, was like, let's knock this guy the out and leave.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Justified
I mean,
mutiny is a thing.
to be fair, I think the implication is that he thought that they'd be safe evacuating off of the ship. But I mean, even though he's still alive, so they would have all been alive had they stayed on the ship. It's a bad plan.
Yeah, I don't really blame him too much for that one. Like,
Yeah,
if
no.
you're going to a planet, no one's going to expect the entire planet to blow up. So,
except he said that they watched it destroy the other
This is
planet.
the third one that yeah, he saw them destroy the first two. So like,
did he say that
yeah,
they saw it or that they
Mhm.
suspect?
No, he said that they saw it when they
in
first
the
arrived. Yeah,
yeah,
so
I think it's McCoy's reading his captain's logs. I think is what it is.
Right. If it's the captain's log, no one else knows.
Until McCoy reads it, because he sends all that over to the Enterprise and Spock analyzes it.
Yeah. So
Plus, in those type of environments, if you've ever been on like a submarine or something like that, what the captain says goes, and there is no ifs, ands, or buts. You have to trust that guy implicitly, like your life depends on it, because it does.
Yeah, I would find it hard to believe that an entire and I get it. That's true in a high risk situation. But if a guy's like, yeah, we're gonna drive right into that thing that and we've already tried to attack it and we know it's ineffective. We're gonna fly up its nose and we will surely die. But yeah, we're just that's what we're gonna do. I feel like somebody would just deck him.
When he did it on his ship, I get it. That I get it. Once he's on the Enterprise, I'm like, yeah, this man has been through some trauma. I just don't think he's okay. He's kind of flying us into what kind of feels like a kamikaze mission. Surely someone's going to say no to this at some point. I mean,
Well,
they do.
Spock eventually does when he's like, hey, if you're trying to commit suicide, that means you're mentally unfit to command a starship. Give me my chair, please.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you said that they take him away for that psych eval too late, because I did that is one of my notes it's just they take him for that psych eval just too late. It's just they're really lucky things didn't go way worse, way faster, but it was too late.
I love that scene though. Vulcans never bluff.
It's true. It's probably
in
why
terms
Spock
of
loses at chess.
in terms of the overacting, I think it works for a man who's on the edge. Like this is a man on the edge. He is unhinged. But I just don't think that the '60s maybe necessarily recognized that state of mind, and he didn't, and he thought that it was overacting. But I guess just by 2025, it's subtle, relatively anyway.
I don't know that I'd say it was subtle.
I don't know.
It's anything but. Yeah, I get what you're saying though. It's better than Lazarus.
Oh yeah.
Completing his repair of the Constellation's view screen, Kirk is shocked to see the Enterprise engaging the planet killer. Scotty has managed to repair Constellation's impulse engines and one of her phaser banks, so Kirk uses the crippled ship to approach and fire on the planet killer, distracting it long enough for the Enterprise to escape its tractor beam. A fun bit here is, the scene where Scotty's in engineering, the ship reels, and he's like holding on very dramatically to the like mesh screen or whatever. That's reused footage.
Really?
That is taken from the episode Tomorrow is Yesterday. And if you eagle eye viewers will notice.
Boy, budget cuts everywhere, man. They really
I suppose. In this episode, Scotty wears a tricorder throughout this entire episode, except in that moment where it is nowhere to be seen. And that is how you can tell.
Didn't even notice.
And plus, and I mean, you wouldn't have. I wouldn't have known. But also, if you go back and watch Tomorrow is Yesterday, which I actually don't think we've seen yet. I think it was shot in production order first. But when we get to Tomorrow is Yesterday, or maybe did we? Is that the one where they go back to 60s Earth? I think that is.
I think we did. Yeah, that's the one where they wear normal people clothes and they go to San Francisco or whatever, right?
Yep. But if you watch that
we have seen that
episode,
one.
if you watch that episode, Scotty does the same thing.
Impressive for use of it, because I didn't notice.
Seamless.
I was just gonna say that my favorite scene of this whole episode is whenever Kirk says, "You've earned your pay for the week." Like Scotty, I just absolutely love every scene that he ever has with Kirk. Just the way that they play off of each other's energies and just his accent and everything like that. And just how he can rely on him and just the pride that he feels in his man. He's just like, I even got a phaser beam charged up for you. And he's just like, oh, I love this man. Like, I just love it. That's my favorite part.
Do you ever think that Scotty, you ever think Scotty has spoiled Kirk? Like, because Scotty was so awesome, Kirk just expects.
Oh, I mean, yeah, Jerry, the next guy. I mean, he took some verbal abuse.
Jerry,
he did. No, he didn't.
What do you mean you can't repair the warp engines with duct tape and WD-40? What's the matter with you?
Right?
Scotty did it.
Scotty did it. You think you could do this? Scotty did this in a cave.
It's like,
With some
Sir Montgomery,
scraps.
Sir Montgomery Scott would go on to become an instructor at the Academy for Engineering. Well, he's still a better man than you. You want us to crash into something? But yeah, so Scotty gets a lot of love in this episode. After repairing the transporter and reestablishing voice communications, the Enterprise retreats to a safe distance. Spock relieves Decker of command on Kirk's authority, and Decker is escorted to sickbay. However, Decker overpowers his security escort and steals a shuttlecraft. So before we get into the fight of what I've affectionately called Starfleet Foo, my first thought was, oh look, a shuttlecraft.
I mean, anytime there's a shuttlecraft, you have to know there's a note that there's some shuttlecraft action for Jake.
This is funny, Sosa, because the episode we just did before was the Apple, where the transporter's not working, but the whole time I'm like, but they have shuttlecraft. Just send a shuttlecraft. Just send a
Send the
shuttlecraft.
I
But they
can't even
never.
begin to tell you how much the fight choreography bothers me. As we've gone over my background, it bothers me to absolute no end. I hate all of it with every fiber of my being.
That's so fair. Because there's so many times I mean, Jake, you're more. I guess I mean I have a bit of fighting knowledge, not a ton, but there's moments where we see some legit fight moves. Like I think last episode we saw a solid palm strike.
Yeah, from Shatner, who actually had training, but this, and don't get me wrong, Shatner does have a righteous drop kick, but sometimes,
His stunt double,
yeah,
on the other hand,
his stunt double, not so much.
not so much.
But this had to be the most ineffective fight I've ever seen in my life. And I couldn't help but notice at one point the security guards has like English style boxing fisticuffs, and I'm like, what do you think you're gonna do?
I mean, I thought it was a fun little fight sequence.
It's that one of his kung fu thing, like with his arms down at his waist, like
it's everything I love about Star Trek. Like, it's so dumb.
Please stop! It's so painful. Please stop! Please stop! And Jake, Justin, if you've seen this, then good for you. You'll understand the reference. But when during that fight, all I thought about was Dragon Ball Abridged, Jake. And whenever Goku goes up behind Raditz and goes, oh my god!
Oh yeah, because the full Nelson, yeah.
I have to use my last technique.
Now die!
Full Nelson!
A full Nelson? That won't work on me. I'm Raditz. Okay, let go. Seriously, this is starting to piss me off!
And I love how he gets out of said full Nelson by, like, slapping him in the back of the
ears behind him. Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, try that in a real fight. See how well that goes. That just pisses the other guy off.
So
that's when he takes you and throws your face into the wall. After that,
yeah.
My question of this fight was: did Matt Decker punch that man in the?
I don't. Did he? I know at one point he like.
There was a below the belt shot happening there. I swear there was, and I'm like, that's a dirty move, dude. That's not cool.
Well, I know I forget what they called the strike, which is like a double hammer fist. That's what they call it. But he has the first errors. He has his fingers interlaced, but they always do. Because a double hammer fist is actually like this because this hurts a lot.
It is such a bogus move. It can theoretically be okay if you're going downward on someone's head, but that's the only context in which that works.
My whole thing with that is a single hammer fist works better, and why not? Yeah. If you've got a downward elbow, that works.
Yeah, an elbow is always going to hurt
better.
Way
and
more.
Plus, I did this once because I watched Dragon Ball Z as a child and was an idiot, and this hurts.
Yeah, a lot. Potential to break your fingers, man. Yeah, it makes sense.
This hurts a lot.
It happens whenever you have brass knuckles. People don't understand this. They'll put on brass knuckles for the first time. You will break your fingers if you're not careful.
As a man who has replicated many a wrestling move, yeah, you don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want to interlace your fingers. So you said I'm not sure if he hits him in the at some point, but I do see at one point he double hammer fists the guy's butt. That was weird. Not sure what that
Yeah.
was supposed to do. I mean, it's a little early for a good game. The fight's still going on. And my last note on that is like pretty sure that violates Starfleet regulations.
He's like, "Don't worry, I'm never gonna see consequences for my actions. Peace, everybody." Oh no, that's
That
well,
being,
we'll get there. We'll get there.
that being said, though, I do know why some people in Hollywood use that for fight choreography because it's something that you can actually hit. It's a flatter surface on the softer parts of your hands, and it can actually look like a legit hit without actually it hurting your opponent that much.
This
So
is
you
true.
can actually make
That is true.
Yeah, if you don't do a full force hammer fist, like that's
right,
nothing.
but you put your hands together, and then it gives a lot more cushion.
Yeah, and when you're doing it in fight choreography, you hit like side
Yeah,
because they always come in from the side.
and your arms lack fluidity in that movement. So while you're throwing it as hard as you can, you sell that part of the fight choreography. You're not actually doing that much damage to the person.
Yeah. Just in case a stray hit comes through. Overcome with survivor's guilt over the loss of his crew, Decker informs Spock he is flying the shuttlecraft he stole straight into the maw of the machine. Kirk begs Decker to return to the Enterprise, but Decker does not deviate from his course and flies into the machine where he dies. Yeah, that's
okay. Again, just a note of just solid shuttlecraft action. The scene was tense. There was a bit of tension there that I enjoyed, and then I just when Kirk is trying to talk him out of it, he should have said that his shirt is not nearly red enough for this. Your shirt isn't nearly red enough for this. What are you doing?
Yeah, he makes a very good point.
You're too valuable in the pyramid of the ship.
But I love it the whole time because you can see on
your emotional distress.
Like,
sorry,
you can see on Kirk's face the whole time though. He's just like, no, please don't stop. Please no.
He's thinking about the paperwork he's gonna have to fill out. But if you, that's at least 30 minutes worth of paperwork I'm gonna have to do now.
You sacrifice your life to make this, but I think this might actually work. So, miss you.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kirk is kind of hanging back, being like, "What if it worked?"
Yeah, exactly.
This could solve
a hypothesis.
He's like, "This could solve a couple problems for me."
Do you think he had the idea initially, and then he was like, "Wait, let's let him try it first, see if it fails."
Yeah. Yep.
Let's see what Squirt does flying solo. Turns out he dies.
Yeah. You're going to be such a wonderful hero. You went down for your crew, and you tried to save all of us.
And he's dead.
Yeah.
The machine. Like, oh man, that's like an afternoon I'm gonna have to spend at a funeral. Oh, that's inconvenient.
The machine's still there, Captain. Damn.
Plug on a windshield.
Lieutenant Sulu reports that the shuttlecraft explosion has reduced the planet killer's power output by a small amount. Realizing that this may have been Decker's intention, it wasn't his intention. He was totally trying to blow it up.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And hoping
Back
that...
we should have known the whole time, bro.
Funny you mentioned that. That's been a bit of a running joke because this universe Sulu, yes, there's evidence, but Mirror Universe Sulu is a dog.
Oh, he's a dog. D-O-G dog, man. His catchphrase is, "Oh no."
Yeah.
Consent is optional with straight Sulu. That's all I'm saying.
It's not optional for you. It's optional for him.
Oh no.
You can speak for yourself, bro.
Oh, is that? Oh no, that I'm getting canceled today.
Well, that's why you look so good in that blue, bro.
No, it's Mirror Universe Sulu that'll get canceled.
Oh, that's true. He'll get canceled and make an inevitable apology that he doesn't really mean, but
not in the Mirror Universe. Not happening.
Oh no! Okay, that's fair. You think his apology, his tearful apology, is sincere?
No, this universe of Sulu will apologize on behalf of his Mirror Universe counterpart.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
Realizing this may have been Decker's intention, and hoping that a starship would do much more damage, Kirk comes up with a plan to explode Constellation inside of the planet killer. Over Spock's objections, Kirk insists on piloting the damaged starship himself, and Scotty rigs the impulse engines to explode with a 30-second delay before detonation, warning his captain that once the timer is enabled, no way remains to abort it.
Stop wasting your time on manually editing your videos. The secret AI tool will do the work for you. One of the best things about it is that it gives your video the potential to go viral. Visit this page, sign in, create a project by clicking on this button. Choose a video that you want to use. Click on the AI clip button. Wait for the magic. It is scanning through the video and looking for the parts that has the potential to go viral. Instead of editing the video by yourself, it does the work for you. It even generates headline and captions which fit your video. Another surprise is that they generate video description or social post for you to use. Once done, click Export to post.
With the rest of the boarding party transported back to Enterprise, Kirk aims the Constellation at the maw of the planet killer, triggering the timer, and orders Enterprise to beam him aboard. The transporter malfunctions, and Scotty races to set it right with advice from Spock. Legit tension in this scene. I do feel like they let the countdown go a little too close to 1. I would have been okay. I would have been okay with 10 seconds, but one seems a bit.
Kirk was remarkably calm. He's like, "Hey, man, maybe get that transporter going. You know, this is getting real close."
I think it would be a good idea if you beam me up now.
Yeah. Although it does remind me of the moment in the Justice League animated series when Batman's falling down and he was just like, "I need air support because I can't fly." Now would be good.
Batman to all points. I could use some air support since I can't fly at all. Now would be good.
I mean, why do we always have to cut these things so damn close?
It's a question Kirk should have had.
I love the scene. It's just so perfectly Spock. And you could tell that he knew what he was doing in this moment, even as the character of Spock, but Leonard Nimoy he knew what he was doing in this scene, especially when he says, I think that'll make 93 kilotons of, destructive power, TNT or whatever he says. And he's just like, "No, Captain." He's like, "No." And he's just like 93.1837, kilotons. And he's just like, "Oh, that's my Spock right there." I'm like, I love that scene. That's just perfect.
Leonard Nimoy
right there.
Yeah, no, Leonard Nimoy often makes very, very good but subtle choices with Spock, and they're almost always phenomenal. Very good.
One of the ones though that was driving me crazy this whole episode was how he pronounced sensor. But then he pronounced transporter correctly, and I was like, he's doing it on purpose.
Well, no, technically he's correct because sensor is spelled with an O and transporter is an ER.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
So technically Spock is correct.
Oh, of course he is. He's Spock. Why wouldn't he be technically correct?
I'm going to take that bit of knowledge on my next date and floor her with it.
With virtually no time to spare, Kirk is safely beamed aboard the Enterprise as the Constellation explodes inside the planet killer, destroying the machine's power system and leaving it permanently dead in space. As the Enterprise departs, Kirk and Spock speculate that other Doomsday machines could be out there. I mean, stands to reason.
I mean, yeah, it does. The machine, the machine, when the ship flew into it, was giving me Eye of Sauron.
At least in the CGI updated version, but another reference you may get is the ending of this episode where Decker flies a shuttlecraft down in the middle of the machine to disable it might very well have served as the inspiration for a similar maneuver in the film Independence Day.
Oh, interesting. Star Trek is connected to everything.
Never confirmed, but I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah. Star Trek influences everything, as we have discovered multiple times. So I'm sure some writer probably was like, you know what? I like Star Trek. Or he was watching Star Trek one night when he was writing, and
make it a plane, and it'll
make
work.
it a plane. It'll be fine.
The wonderful thing about Independence Day is that a lot of their scenes aren't copyrighted to this day, even on YouTube. So anytime I bring up Independence Day, I always put in, that speech at the end. "Tell my children I love them very much." I'm like, oh man, like just hits me right there.
Do me a favor. Tell my children I love them very much. All right, you alien assholes! In the words of my generation, up yours!
I mean, also being that it's science fiction from the 90s, I could believe that someone with late night was writing it, watching Star Trek.
Some sources hold that this episode was influenced by Fred Saberhagen's Berserker series, which features robotic killing machines built as a doomsday device by a now vanished race to wipe out their rivals. Norman Spinrod, however, denies these influences and said he wasn't even conscious of Saberhagen when he was writing the episode. He considered it more of a Moby Dick allegory.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I didn't see it until you said that earlier, but now that you've said that, I definitely see it. I definitely see the Moby Dick allegory.
Now, not being familiar with that Berserker series, I couldn't tell you, but there are, especially nowadays, like there's no such thing as an original idea. So you will
Was it
have
the
been.
same five stories in Hollywood or whatever?
This is actually James Doohan's favorite episode for its highlighting of the engineering aspects of the Star Trek world, which makes sense. Plus, Scotty
That makes
shines
sense.
a lot.
Yeah, he does. He does. Yeah, there's a lot of great Scotty stuff in this.
And although this episode is considered to be a classic episode by fans and critics alike, story editor DC Fontana named this as her least favorite episode.
Really?
I know.
I don't know, man.
Your least favorite of everything?
I mean, last week's was so bad though. Like last week's was so much worse. That was legit a bad episode. This was so good. This was really good.
Well, and I just always go back to Lazarus, the
I mean, there's
alternative
also
factor.
Lazarus.
That's
That
a
was the first
terrible
time
episode.
for me as a newbie. That was the first time Star Trek could be bad. That was legit the first time, which is why I guess it's always gonna hold a special place in my heart. I was like, that was bad. That was a bad episode. That was bad. I felt bad after that.
Yeah, most definitely. Director Mark Daniels finished this episode in 5 days instead of the usual schedule of 6. Daniels had made a bet with the producers that he could finish the episode in 5 days. When he succeeded, he got $500.
Nice. 1960s money. That's like $1,000. I don't know.
I think it's slightly more, but I mean.
Oh, really? Wow. I thought it would be lower.
No, for back then, it's about 10 to 12 times the going rate. So it would be about 5,000 to 6,000.
Oh, wow.
We'll
Okay.
find out. $500.
That's solid.
1967 worth today. Whoa. Okay. Roughly about 48.50.
Wow. Nailed that. He did that math in his head. That is impressive.
So he basically got $5,000, give or take.
That's pretty. That's pretty good. That's good money.
That's probably about the bonus you'd get today if you did that, though.
Yeah.
Exactly what you would get.
I mean, he was just like, let's just get a really charismatic, solid guest star, and just let him do all the work for us.
Just point the camera and roll.
Just point the camera and smile. Sorry, just at the end, Kirk, he has a monologue about how this is the first time a doomsday would be used for constructive purposes. I didn't understand what he was saying. They destroyed it.
No, he's talking about making basically an atomic bomb out of the ship. Although
Okay.
technically speaking, I don't think it's technically an atomic bomb, but I guess in scale it would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, he was just like, we're gonna use it for constructive purposes. I did not understand what he was saying.
A fitting end to the episode, in my opinion, because in reality, guys, that's one of the biggest lessons you can learn in life. Almost anything can be used for greatness. Like social media or anything is one of the most amazing inventions ever. It's all about how you.
That is a valid point, valid argument.
A thing is just a thing. Its usage, however, is subjective.
Exactly. It's all about how you use the thing.
Alcohol. But you take too much of it, you're really messed up.
This is true.
I always use the gun on the table analogy. If a gun's on the table, it will hurt no one.
True.
Yep. Go ahead, gun. Shoot somebody.
Unless the gun is like a sentient, like Pixar or DreamWorks gun that's like somehow alive and vengeful. Then at that point,
I grew up thinking that's how guns actually operate.
I don't know why though. Anytime anybody always talks about the aspect of a sentient gun, I always think of there's a very early episode of American Dad where Stan shows his daughter a gun safety video that was obviously made in the 60s. There's one of the parts of it is some guy's got like a hand puppet of a revolver and he's like, "Hey, I'm P the pistol. Do you feel lonely sometimes?" And the kid just goes, "Yes."
Hi, I'm Petey the Pistol. Say, do you ever get lonely? Yes. Me too. Hold me.
I love American Dad.
It's just the way he says, "Hi, I'm Petey the Pistol."
That show's better than it has any right to be.
Bro, now that I am older, like I'm like, oh, I need to go back and watch that.
It is solid. Like there's some solid. My favorite is like your accent. You say such dumb things, but your accent makes you sound smart. Oh, so good, so funny.
Just another fun fact to close this one out. In the Star Trek novel Vendetta, author Peter David related that the planet killer was actually a prototype for a much larger version. The weapon had been built by a race called the Preservers, who were fighting and losing a war with the Borg.
See, that makes sense. That at least you understand the sides of the conflict. Like that, I like that better.
Well,
Bro, that'd be so cool.
That weapon, theoretically, well, I mean, practically, could stand up to a Borg cube and then not only destroy it, but then use it as a power source. And presumably, if it's doing this to Borg planets, who cares? It's just powering itself. But clearly, this one veered off course, which again, if it's aimed at Borg,
yeah,
good planet eater.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter how much you adapt, you cannot beat something that just rams through planets. It'll go right through the Borg ship.
Yeah, well, I just that's why I didn't like that they didn't again. No, I hate criticizing this show for its writing because it's like, well, with hindsight, but it's just like not seeing who launched this thing, not really giving them a motivation because like if you're gonna use a comparison to the H bomb, we understood. I mean, maybe they didn't understand in the 1960s why it was used, but like we understand why that was used. This is just senseless destruction for seemingly no tactical reason from where I'm sitting anyway.
I think this was more or less alluding to just the general fear and anxiety of a potential nuclear war, not so much exactly Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Fair.
Plus,
fair.
I think they made the villain in this episode intentionally a robot because it's malfunctioning, it's not being handled right. You know, it's not doing what it's originally intended to do in all likelihood. So, you know, it's making that allusion to how we use it.
Yeah, there's no moral dilemma in destroying a robot that's
no
taking out planets.
No,
right.
No, it's a bad guy thing.
So, as per tradition, Justin, would you like to take a stab at the episode we'll be looking at next week entitled Cat's Paw?
I do. I just wanted to just make one final note, which is just this episode ended on such a weird note. It ended on another Star Trek sitcom, and I was like, this just didn't feel like the episode to at least like it seemed Kirk was given like a smile and a wink at the camera at the end. That was the vibe it was giving me.
No, you know what? This one, it is Star Trek sitcom, but instead of ending on a laugh track, it ends on that like really somber music. You know,
The H-bomb was the ultimate weapon, their Doomsday Machine. And we used something like it to destroy another Doomsday Machine. Probably the first time such a weapon has ever been used for constructive purposes.
Appropriate, Captain. However, I can't help wondering if there are any more of those weapons wandering around the universe.
Well, I certainly hope not. I found one quite sufficient.
Because I don't know. I was just like Spock and Kirk's interaction felt like a weird note to me. But anyway, yes. What's the title of next week's episode?
Cat's Paw.
Oh, I'm gonna guess it's like we're you know what? Just because I don't even know. I'm gonna go. It's a monkey paw situation. We're going. They find like a cat's. There's like someone's making a wish on like a genie or something, and something's gone awry. It's like a allusion to a monkey's paw type of situation. That felt totally wrong. I was just free throwing.
I'm gonna give you like 10% because you're
10%. Whoa, okay, I'll take it.
Because I mean there are elements that are kind of there, so I'm going to give you 10%.
I'm going to take that one. I'm going to take that one because I had no clue.
It's a stupid title. Just to let you know, it's a dumb title.
All right. Okay.
Well, join us. Well, before we go, I want to thank you again, Sosa, for joining us. Always fun to have guests on.
Yeah, that was sweet. There's
episode, like I mentioned before, you just happen to be coming across this one, and I happened to hit you up right around that time about it. It was meant to be.
And before we leave, please let our audience know what your YouTube channel is all about and how they can find you.
Sosa Potent 300. I do early screening movie reviews for basically every major movie, but I also do anime, fiction, anything that I find, worthy, whether it's King and Asura, Baki, big anime fighting type shows, but I also do political, humor, UFC fight coverage, anything on there that I like, you're going to have fun on there, especially as the rare right-wing conservative who actually enjoys anime and, geek stuff and all that stuff. And Jake will understand this one, or especially Eric will understand this one, who also enjoys hemp. Like, we're a new breed. The right is transforming. So that's what I'm all about.
Right on. Well, you can check him out on YouTube.
Oh. Yeah, and one more thing. I got to tell y'all something. Have y'all ever heard of those little nicotine pouches?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I tried one of those for the first time today. Man, we all know I'm the Rocky Balboa. I'm the brick wall. Man, when I tell you I had that for the first time today, I could have been Muhammad Ali. I was floating. I could have floated like a butterfly, stung like a bee. I could have jumped 10 feet up in the air. It's an amazing thing. I see why people take it all the time before tests.
Maybe that's what they gave Decker.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'll just give him nicotine, Jim.
Shit straight hooking up to his veins. Oh, see, such a shame you don't watch The Simpsons. That was a solid Simpsons reference. Hooking up to my veins.
I'm actually with Jake. Like, I don't get why people like Simpsons. I really just don't see it.
I'm one of those, like, it's like the Muppets, where you just kind of have to grow up with it. I think is kind of one of those shows at this point where, like, it's ripped right from my childhood. So, like, I'm always gonna have a fondness for it.
Right on. Well, join us next week when we watch and what I suspect will be a grind through the episode Cat's Paw, but it'll probably be funny.
Be prepared for 15 pages of notes, it sounds like.
Sorry. Well, we will see you guys next week. But until
Theater 3000.
Sometimes we have episodes that are close to that. But until next time, like, share, and subscribe. And as always, watch long and prosper.
Watch long and prosper.
Oh, yes. There we go.
It just says it's aliens on a mission of conquest. That could describe just about any Star Trek episode.
It's the same reason mythology loves their tricksters. It's because they're fun.
Of course, Kirk is flirting with her. And number one, is Kirk going to his way out of this?